Hello and thanks for joining School of the American Rifle. Today's video is going to be a rather quick one. It's going to be a summary physical on this rifle right here that I'm pointing to. This is a H&R 606 or a Colt 606 clone. My lovely wife purchased this for me this past Father's Day. I've put a couple rounds through it function-wise in the test trap, and it's working great. But there are some things cosmetically that I wanted to point out for those of you who may be interested in buying one. I have Colts and Armalites on my rack, but I didn't have an H&R, so it's a nice round out to my collection. I also do not have a Hydromatic, and I have one of those coming soon. But the Colt gray on this is a little different. It has somewhat of a greenish hue to it, where typical Colts and Armalites, the color isn't quite that light. So they match pretty closely, but they aren't definitely not Colt gray. So if that's something that bothers you, take that into consideration. The furniture is also bulkier at the top. So if you'll notice right here where the receiver extension and the buttstock meet, there's a significant lip sitting up there. I did initially think that the receiver extension was undersized, and I measured it. It's not. It's only about maybe 2,000 undersized. That's not enough to make that gap there be like it is. But that's something I wanted to point out. The buttstock and the pistol grip furniture, pretty clean. I did add a sling to it. But the thing that stands out most, beyond the neat heavy barrel and the bipod, is the consistent reports that I'm seeing, and also just experienced it myself, with damage to the handguards. So if we zoom in here, we can see that it's not only gouged inwards, but it's also cracked. So it's cracked horizontally and gouged vertically. So on both sides. I'm not going to pull it off the rack. If you don't believe me, then you don't. But it is rather disappointing for a rifle in its price range to have damage out of the box. The reports that I've seen says H&R does not replace the handguards when people do a customer service claim. So I'm going to leave it be. I would have gouged the handguards with the bipod feet myself, just from using it and putting them out of the way. I'm not too particular about, minimizing scratches and marks from when I'm using guns. To me, they're tools. But out of the box, or when I'm working on one, I don't want to be gouging them up or have them damaged out of the box. So just something to be aware of. You may run into that if you did want to replace those handguards. I think they float about $100, depending where you're getting them from, for the reproductions. The original ones, if they're in good shape, probably wouldn't recommend putting it on this, because you're going to bash them up, and the originals in good shape are becoming very difficult to acquire. But those are the main cosmetic things that I saw about it. The thing that does irritate me about the gun is the barrel extension. They put M4 barrel extensions on these retro style guns, and the upper receivers are rifle uppers. They don't have M4 ramps in them. So M4 extension on the barrel and a rifle configuration upper. And what happens is, people will say it's not a problem, but you run into an issue where the case mouth can sometimes hang up on that rifle opening where the M4 ramps would have been. And it can cause some weird feeding issues or damage to the cartridges, or some accuracy issues. And I actually have a little bit of nicks on them already just from test firing it. So what I'm going to do, and I've done it to other in the past, it's not a cheap endeavor time-wise, but I'm going to replace the M4 barrel extension on this with a rifle extension. And that is a very difficult task if you don't know what you're doing, because it isn't like you can just screw a new extension on. The lugs have to be timed and in relation to where the existing gas port and front sight base would be located on the barrel, and still keep headspace right. So it can be done, but it's very time consuming, and time means money. Since it's my gun and my time, I can spend as much time as I want on it. But I will be replacing the barrel extension on this, because I do not like mismatching uppers with the proper ramps they're supposed to be configured with. So it's either rifle ramps on a rifle barrel with a rifle upper, or M4 ramps with an M4 barrel with M4 extensions. I don't mix and match them. Some people say it's fine. I disagree. But I thought that I would share some of my findings. not critiquing my lovely wife's gift. It's just something that's inherent in some of the H&R products. Maybe I'll do a separate video about all the other ones that I have on the rack. But H&R 606, neat gun. I'm not sure if they're going to continue making them. I don't know what the numbers are, but if you're interested, you might want to pick one up soon while you can, because maybe they won't make a second run. Maybe they will. But neat rifle to add to my collection. As always, I hope you found this video slightly educational, and always, thanks for watching.